Elsword is a free-to-play, 2.5D action MMORPG developed by the South Korean company KOG Studios. It features real-time action gameplay and includes both player versus environment and player versus player modes. There are several playable characters within the game, each with unique backstories and distinct abilities. While playing the game is free, some items and costumes can be purchased through in-game item mall using real currency. Gameplay: Elsword features skill-based action gameplay combined with role-playing elements and community features typical of an MMORPG, such as guilds, chat, and item trading. Gameplay can be controlled using either a keyboard and mouse or a gamepad. Classes: Elsword a knight. Elsword is a swordsman, capable of executing swift attacks with one hand or strong blows with two. He uses his sword greatsword and his basic fire abilities to eliminate his foes. During Destruction Aura, certain commands and skills have a 100% crit chance. Also, getting it while in destruction mode causes Elsword to stoic break, knocking all enemies back and gaining super armor for its duration. During Vitality Aura, certain commands restore mana faster with certain skills requiring less mana. First job change: Sword Knight, specializes in swordsmanship. Magic Knight, combines magic with swords, capable of creating fireballs and sword-shaped magic attacks. Sheath Knight, enables the use of a bladed sheath, Conwell. Second job change: Lord Knight, a title given by the Volta Kingdom to warriors who have reached god-level swordsmanship. Rune Slayer, makes use of an advanced magic named Rune, combining magic with rune and storing it in the user's sword, granting the user explosive level power. Infinity Sword, can summon an unlimited amount of swords to use when fighting, also with an upgraded Conwell. Escher the Magician, special abilities: Charge and Memorize. Being a magician, she can attack by swinging her staff, or shoot fireballs with magic. If Escher stands still, she meditates, rapidly recovering mana. 1 second of charging activates memorization mode. Using a skill during this mode uses its mana cost and puts it on cooldown, but memorizes it. She can use the memorized skills with no additional mana cost, but at a reduced 70% damage. First job change: High Magician, uses advanced magic, combined with knowledge. Dark Magician, combines demonic energy with magic, which makes use of dark fireballs and hell magic. Battle Magician, a melee-type magician that uses magic-reinforced staff wielding. Second job change: Elemental Master, uses the magic of the 4 elements combined with other elements. Replaces water with ice. Void Princess, makes a contract with a devil named Ankh, making use of void magic and hell lasers in addition to her original dark magic. Dimension Witch, can control space and time by the use of Moonstone. Rena the Ranger, special abilities: Charge and Nature Force. As an elven warrior, she excels both at melee combat and archery, and can also combine both techniques. Rena is able to summon nature orbs to assist her in battle. She gains 1 Nanophorad per 6 attacks, maximum of 5 Nanophorads. When using a skill, an F is consumed to ignore defense and prevent knockdown. Some skills requires a certain amount of NF to be activated. During Awakening, Rena does not require NF to activate skills, but will not trigger the NF bonus. When Rena has 3 or more NF, she gains increased charge and speed. If Rena stands still, she starts charging, increasing her mana regeneration. First job change: Combat Ranger, specializes more on martial arts combat, in addition to her archery magic. Sniping Ranger, specializes in archery, capable of marking targets and quick shooting. Trapping Ranger, makes use of traps and melee attacks with legendary sword, Erendel. Second job change: Wind Sneaker, combines the magic used to create energy arrows with martial arts to boost the user's power and speed, as they have reached their limits. Grand Archer, master-level archery, sniping enemies with a hail of arrows and capable of piercing metal when strong, or a soundless arrow when swift. Night Watcher, uses a Moonstone-strengthened Erendel, which was enhanced after her battle with the revived King Nasset. Raven the Taker, Special abilities, Nasset Arm Core and Lightning Rage. Raven is a half-Nasset who wields a sword in one hand to deal fast slashes and can also use his Nasset arm to deal devastating punches and blast fireballs. Activating Awakening summons his Nasset Arm Core. They deal damage when a skill is used, or they greatly reduce damage taken when hit. Nasset Arm Core is consumed completely when launched and is consumed slowly when blocking. Additional core charges can be gained by hitting enemies or getting hit. If Raven actives Awakening level 3, he will be shrouded in lightning, dealing damage to nearby enemies. Additionally, his Nasset Arm Core capabilities are greatly enhanced. First job change, Swordtaker, specializes in swordsmanship rather than his left Nasset arm, in fear that it will overtake him. Overtaker, upgrades his Nasset arm despite the risks of being taken over. Weapon Taker, makes use of the overheat system, which strengthens his attacks and his Nasset fireballs but at the cost of his own life. Second job change, Blade Master, seals his Nasset arm completely and uses only his sword, reaching master-level swordsmanship capable of even cutting dimensions. Reckless Fist, uses a limit-enhanced Nasset arm with reckless power, but is already at its limits of being mentally unstable and starts to lose his own consciousness. Veteran Commander, upgrades his overheat system and strengthens his Nasset arm, which was on the brink of destruction due to an overuse of overheat. Eve, another code, special abilities, Glide and Queen's Core. Eve uses her powers of machinery to take down enemy forces for her. She can summon Nassets from her kingdom to aid her in her battle. A dash jump causes Eve to glide, increasing movement speed that diminishes over time. Eve can dash multiple times in the air, granting her high air mobility. Activating Awakening summons Queen's Core to aid her in battle. It shoots lasers when skills are activated and blocks damage completely when attacked. It is consumed completely when attacking and is consumed slowly when blocking. Additional core charges can be gained by attacking enemies or by getting hit. Also, at the expense of core charges, she can backslide, escaping from additional hits. Activating Awakening level 3 boosts Queen's Core, significantly increasing its damage and blocking capabilities as well as its recharge speed. When Queen's Core is deactivated, Eve gains health and mana depending on the level of the awakening. First job change, Code, Exotic, gains exceptional mobility and increased melee capability, while maintaining her sanity. The Warrior Queen obtains a multitude of situational skills as she advances. Code, Architecture, able to summon Oberon to aid her in battle. Oberon is a Nasset built by Eve, designed to use its dual swords to attack under her command. Code, Architecture boasts a range of special active skills dealing heavy physical damage, as well as having utility-based active skills that deal great amounts of magical damage. Code, Electra, utilizes the code to construct a functional Nasset device, the Earl Energy Reactor. The power of the Earl is easily manipulated by Eve, expressed with high-powered electron beams. Beautifully lethal, Eve can unleash various forms of Earl force generated by the Earl Energy Reactor as she pleases. Second job change, Code, Nemesis Nasset's Queen of Destruction. She depends more on her enhanced arsenal of weaponry rather than relying on her gears and summons. By developing her weapon arsenal, Code, Nemesis gained access to a plethora of different types of weapons such as the Nasset wing drones. Her combo style becomes more diverse with improved drone attacks and overall basic combos. Code, Empress, creates an additional servant named Ophelia, combining Oberon and Ophelia's attacks to make an infinite combo. Should a battle last long enough, she also gains access to her third servant, Ferdinand. Code, Battle Seraph, gains the power to utilize sharper and more formulated lasers, gaining a third Earl Energy Reactor mode and high mobility, in exchange for her emotion control circuit. Chewing the Guardian, special abilities, ammo and berserk mode. Chunga Euro unregistered trademark S weapon is the large cannon, destroyer, and his armor is the full-body panoply, Fraternia. Chewing certain commands and skills use ammo. If he does not have ammo, then he cannot use skills, or his attack commands will deal no damage at all. He reloads one ammo every 2 seconds if he is standing still, or he can reload it using skills or commands. He has 6 to 12 ammo. Activating Awakening Level 3 allows Chung to go into Berserk mode. When activated, Chung instantly regains his full ammo capacity, giving him infinite ammo for its duration. First job change, Fury Guardian, upgrades Destroyer to make more powerful shots, and Fraternia to better withstand enemy fire. Shooting Guardian, makes use of a gun named Silver Shooter, as he felt that the use of his heavy cannon made openings. Shelling Guardian, deals with heavy artillery and a wide range of heavy weapons from a distance, but can also inflict powerful blows at enemies in close range. Second job change, Iron Paladin, upgrades Destroyer to its limit, destroying enemies in a single blast. He also upgrades Fraternia to its limit, blocking all attacks. Deadly Chaser, makes use of 2 Silver Shooters, as having just 1 still made openings. Tactical Trooper, makes additional changes. His cannon switches to Red Siege mode, allowing him to change to normal siege to Red Siege. Ara, a degree of 3/4 or Little Xia, special abilities, Spirit Orb and Fox Form. Ara is a skilled martial artist that uses a spear. She is a highly versatile character with extremely long melee attack range, as well as superior attack speed and mobility, having an air dash in addition to the double jump. Ara is able to cancel certain skills with another skill, sometimes gaining Spirit Orbs when done so. This enables her to chain actives and special actives with ease, even if that skill is not in the skill slot. However, due to this, Ara's skills have a lower damage than other characters. Ara's skills may use Spirit Orbs, mana, or both. Spirit Orbs can be obtained by certain skills and grants her access to certain skills. Activating Awakening Level 3 will turn her to the Nine-Tailed Fox, gaining increased health, damage, defense, and speed. In this mode, she gains 1 Spirit Orb each time she kills an enemy. Ara's second-class changes might be unavailable in some countries. First job change. Little Zion, capable to doing quick attacks in mid-air as well as enhanced combos. Little Devil, uses powers from the Demon Realm, allowing her to materialize spirit energy weapons like spears and wolf spirits. Little Spectre, Ara's and Yun's souls now share the same body, allowing Ara to do martial arts that are strengthened by Yun's Spectre powers and fox-like reflexes. Second job change, Sacred Evanam, melee attacks have a longer and wider range. Combined with the new aerial martial arts attacks she learns, she gets a higher advantage when fighting in the air. Yamaraja, capable of more materialization of spirit energy weapons, including a spirit energy form of herself to steal the souls of her targets. Asura, able to create more phantom claws and use them as an extension of her body. Ulysses the Free Knight, special ability, Chivalry, she is able to evade and gap close with extreme effect, unlike her brother Elsword, who incorporates a more defensive fighting style. In addition to her swordplay with her Great Claymore, Ulysses is capable of harnessing and expressing energy into fire, enhancing her combat efficiency. In Gale mode, certain skills will have reduced mana cost and cooldown, making her capable of spamming skills in rapid succession, although with reduced damage. In Annihilation mode, certain commands and skills will have 100% crit chance, granting extremely high damage while the annihilation gauge lasts. Also, mana breaking while in annihilation mode causes her to stoic break instead, knocking all enemies back and granting her super armor for a few seconds. Ulysses' third job path might be unavailable in some countries. First job change, Saber Knight, capable of shrugging off multitudes of attacks while maintaining her composure, simultaneously delivering armor-crashing blows coupled with refined fire magic. Pyro Knight, focuses primarily on conjuring fire and unleashing its fury from her sword. Also capable of numerous short to mid-ranged skills. Dark Knight, able to use dark powers, which allow her to use brute force to kill her foes. She can use some of her HP to make her skills hit more often, and the lower her HP gets, the more damage she'll deal to her enemies. Her Gale mode is now able to heal her, and her skills that use Annihilation mode now deal even more damage at the cost of losing more HP. Second job change, Grandmaster, a master of swordsmanship, capable of overpowering a Volta Kingdom's Lord Knight in a one-on-one battle. Blazing Heart, a master of fire magic, the Blazing Heart employs a highly effective and versatile skill set, from unleashing the erratic blaze wing to lodging her claymore into her foes to set them ablaze with Sword of Red Lotus. Crimson Avenger, masters her dark powers, allowing her to become even stronger than before. Her many passives compensate for her powerful attacks, which cost more health. Add the Tracer, special abilities, Dynamo configuration and Dynamo mutation. Staying true to his concept of being a mechanic, Ad fully utilizes his mechanized weapon, the NASA Dynamo, to aid him in battle. The dynamos are not only able to deal physical damage to targets, but are able to fire rays of electricity as a way of dealing magical damage. As a ranged alternative, his dynamos can also be configured to form a powerful electric cannon by the same way. Attacking or getting it gives Ad dynamo points. Having 100 or more dynamo points enables Ad to go into Awakening, called Configuration. During Configuration, Ad gains access to special commands and skills. Configuration has a 5-second cooldown and gives Ad 1 Dynamo mutation orb. Using certain skills in Configuration mode consumes the mutation orbs, minimum of 1, maximum of 3, gaining increased damage or added effects per orb consumed. Dissolution cancels Configuration mode and returns Ad to normal state. His third choice of first and second class changes are available only to KR server. Ad might not be available in some countries. First job change, Psychic Tracer, connects his dynamos to his mind, enabling him to control them and the energy it stores and generates with only willpower. Arc Tracer, upgrades the AI of his dynamos and gains the ability to summon drones to assist him in battle through Dynamo Factory. Time Tracer, finally succeeds in applying the ability of manipulating time and space through his dynamos, and continues his own journey to find an energy source that will allow him to better calculate his time-space errors. Second job change, Lunatic Psyker, upgrades his dynamos even further by installing a more stable power source, giving him more destructive power. Mastermind, develops technology that allows his weapons to move on their own according to his will. Diabolic Esper, uses the knowledge he gained from his experiments in an effort to destroy the world, due to him being unable to return to the past that he wanted. Luciel, Demon Power, special ability, combination gauge and dual mana system, with a dual character play style. Players can either defeat enemies with strong demonic magic with a melee attacker, Lu, or with quick slashes and gunshots as the ranged CL, or utilize both to chain numerous combos. Lu and CL are capable of switching between them depending on the situation. While resting, they can click their current character to switch. During combat, they can switch using certain commands or skills. Switching gives them points of combination gauge. When they have 10 combination gauge, they can use their ultimate skill, combination skill, which consumes all 10 combination gauge. This does not use mana and it does not have a cooldown. Lu and CL do not share mana and the tagged-out character rapidly recovers mana. To compensate for this, they have a relatively high mana cost. First job change, Shaliark Lu, gains the ability to use terror energy and summon stronger demons. Royal Guard CL, becomes able to extract soul energy from his enemies and uses a large cross-shaped firearm in addition to his gun blades. Second job change, Drelald Shaliark, becomes the Sword of Lu to crush their enemies mercilessly, becomes stronger through CL support and has the power to use soul spears. Noblesse Royal Guard stronger through CL support and has the power to use soul spears. Skills equals, there are different types of skills you can choose from as you level up. Passive, an always-on effect without any mana cost, as long as the conditions are met. There are many types of passives, for example increases attack or defense, gives special effects, enhances other skills, etc. Active, requires some mana to activate. Mana cost and cooldown is very low but does not do significant damage. Actives may damage your opponent, may help your allies, or even restore your health or mana. Mana cost ranges from 0 to 100 and cooldown ranges from 0 to 65. Buff gives you and your allies a special effect or a power boost for a limited time when activated. Its activation can be easily interrupted, so it has a very short cooldown. However, the buff usually gives a huge advantage to a side, so the mana cost is relatively high. There are also skills called debuff skills that weakens your enemy for a short time. Mana cost ranges from 50 to 80, cooldown ranges from 10 to 30 and buff duration ranges from 3 to 100. Special Active has a special skill image when activated. The damage is relatively powerful, so it has a very high mana cost. Most special actives cannot be used in a combo, but there are some that can. Special actives have a very low chance of being interrupted, but if it is, its mana will not be refunded and its cooldown will start. Mana cost ranges from 35 to 300 and cooldown ranges from 5 to 30. Locked skills require completing a quest to be unlocked. After completing the quest, Camilla gives you a skill unlocking book that can unlock a certain type of locked skill. Due to this downside, they are usually stronger than most skills. Once unlocked, can become a passive, active or a special active. There are 4 locked skills for every character: basic, intermediate, advanced and expert, unlocked at level 30, 40, 45, 60, respectively. The higher the seal level, the harder it is to unlock. Combination skill, only available for Luciel. It is a skill that utilizes them both to do a strong attack. It does not require any mana, but it requires a full switch gauge and depletes it completely. There is also no cooldown, as it takes a long time to gain full switch gauge. Hyperactive's strongest skill may be unavailable on other servers. It is also a locked skill and can be unlocked at level 65. Hyperactives may decrease an enemy player's life to half or even cause a one-hit kill when landed successfully. They require 300 MP to use and always have a 180-second cooldown, even if you have a cooldown reducing buff or a mana cost reducing buff. Additionally, hyperactives use up 1 L essence, which can be obtained from L stones. Player versus environment players traverse the land of El Rios, defeating enemies and leveling up to unlock new job classes and skills. As players explore the world, they travel to 9 unique regions, each containing a hub town and around 6 dungeons. In towns, players can receive quests from NPCs, purchase items, and interact with other players. Dungeons are instanced, offering co-op play for up to 4 players at a time. Some dungeons feature branching paths, light puzzle solving, and interactive elements such as collapsing buildings. The game also features a number of special dungeons. Presently, there are a total of 70 different levels. There are 10 different playable characters to date, each with 3 different job class paths that can be chosen starting at level 15. Each job class path offers specialization in a different playstyle along with unique skills. Player versus player PvP, takes place in a special sparring arena designed for different numbers of players. Up to 8 players can brawl at the same time. Both survival and team modes are available with team battles supporting up to 4 versus 4. Servers have the option to fight 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, and 3 versus 3 matches. In the Korean version of Elsword, 2 versus 2 was removed due to its unpopularity. This option was also removed later in the North American and European version, but was reinstalled on July 14, 2014 for the North American version and on July 30, 2014 for the European version. Story: The story of Elsword takes place in El Rios, a mystical land nurtured to life through the power of a gem known as the L Stone. When the L Stone is stolen, Elsword and his allies go on a quest to recover it and bring the thieves to justice. Along the way, new allies join his team, known as the L Search Party. While this story ties the 8 regions of the world together, each region has multiple subplots that unfold as players complete the dungeons in that region. In addition, each character has a personal story that is told as they level up and select their job class path. Characters Playable characters Elsword, voiced by Jung Yumi. Knishi Suzumura. Elsword is an ambitious but hot-headed young swordsman, trained by the commander of the Crimson Knights, his sister, Elysis. Elysis left her little brother to lead a mission, never to return. Elsword is the leader of the El Search Party and is now searching the land for two things, the precious gems that power his kingdom, and his missing sister. Escher, voiced by Riji Young, Raikijimir, Danius Auricola. Escher was already a mage of the highest order at the tender age of 12 until a ring of sinister power absorbed her abilities. Intelligent and brash, she joined the El Search Party and once again starts her journey to relearn all that she lost and to find the ring that stole her powers. Rena, voiced by Jungmi Suk, Yui Horii, Alessandra Karpov. Rena is an elf living in the mortal world. Her place in this world is jeopardized by the weakening of the power gems that energize everything including the connection to her home world. If this power fades, the ties that bind the two planes will vanish, as will Rena herself. She joined the El Search Party and uses her abilities as a ranger to protect the Earl and her friends. Raven, voiced by Baksong Tai, Mamoru Yano, Paolo Sasana. Raven is a fellow commoner from the Kingdom of Velta who rejected the idea of nobles and aristocrats. However, he was still proud of his kingdom, and thus worked hard to become the captain of the Crow Mercenary Knights. Being a commoner in such a high-ranking position, he caused jealousy among the nobles. He was later framed by his friend and sentenced to prison. His friends, comrades, and Fianca copywritee rescued him and hid within the forest in the outskirts of Velta. But it did not take long before they were all surrounded by Velta soldiers and slaughtered one by one. Everything that Raven cared for and loved was stripped away from him, right before his very eyes. Just then, a figure appeared and offered him a contract. For rebirth and power, he would conquer Velta and have revenge on the ones who caused his suffering. Raven agreed. Reborn with a prototype Nasset claw, he became the leader of the Velta rebellion and blindly fought to destroy the kingdom he once protected, until he met a crew of young, ambitious heroes who reminded him of his duty. In atonement for his sins, he decides to lead a new life, joining Elsword and his friends on an adventure of finding the missing Eve, voiced by Woo Jung-shin, Mamago Noto, Loretta D. Pisa. Eve, an upper-class Nasset, was once called the Little Queen of Nassets when humans and Nasset coexisted in ancient Elrios. The times were peaceful and they worked side by side with their creators. However, the reign of prosperity was fleeting, as the power of El began to weaken. Nasset civilization declined without its power source. They sought help from the humans but were denied and, thus, the Nasset-human war began. Years passed with the humans winning the ancient war but at the same time diminishing the El's power. Only a few ancient Nassets survived the war and made it back into their preservation capsules. For thousands of years, Eve was preserved in her capsule unit to avoid the catastrophe until an El fragment accidentally flew into it. Eve woke up only to find out that she was stranded alone in this new present time. She gathered her remaining energy and ancient knowledge and joined the El Search Party to revive King Nasset and the Nasset race as the last Nasset in the world. After all, a queen cannot be without a king and Eve understood that best. Chung Seeker, voiced by Yang Jianghua, Miyuki Sawashiro, a prince of the Seeker family, known protectors of Hamel City, the capital of Sene's kingdom. It is to this name that Chung was born. Widely known as Prince Seeker, Chung was trained for combat from his early years. When Sene's kingdom came under attack, his father devoted himself to defending it. Unfortunately, a demon possessed him, causing him to lose all control of his own body, and the noble fighter unwittingly came to lead the enemies to attack Hamel. Prince Seeker tried to hold his father to try and stop him, but was seriously wounded. With the help of Elsword and his friends, Chung escapes the battlefield and is on his way to recovering from his wounds. Meanwhile, most parts of Senes are now occupied by demons. He then decides to leave Hamel to the Crimson Knights and go with Elsword and his friends in the El Search Party to train and become stronger than ever. He swears to himself that he will not use the Seeker name and will call himself Chung until he returns to save Hamel and take the Water El back from the demons. He is named Latcher in Elsword, Japan. Ara Han, voiced by Yo Min-jung, Satomi Sato, Emanuela Picotto. Ara is the daughter of the Han family, a warrior family that protected the seal of the nine-tailed fox for generations. At first glance, Ara looks like a kind and polite girl, but because of her family's influence, she is actually a highly skilled martial artist and spear wielder. Her brother, Aaron Han, began his training early and was able to become strong enough to become the defense captain of Four Man's capital. One night, the village they lived in was attacked by an army of demons. Ara tried her best to fight back, but was outnumbered and cornered. In the destruction, Ara fell into a room containing a mysterious altar. A large hairpin that was pinned to the altar was thrown across the floor. Ara is approached by her brother, Aaron, who is now Ran, the demon general who had led the invasion. Aaron, who had inherited his strong spirit from the moon, was corrupted and reborn as Ran due to the Dark El contaminating the moon's power. Ran conquered Four Man's capital and led his army to retrieve the village's El fragment. As Ran is about to kill Ara, the last survivor, she instinctively protected herself with a hairpin on the floor. The pin unleashed a powerful light and Ara fell unconscious. When she woke, Ara found herself alone in the center of the village. The nine-tailed fox had possessed her and fought the demons back. Ara then hears the spirit's voice, Ryun, who had been sealed in the pin for centuries. Ryun makes a contract with Ara. She will lend Ara her power and help her find her brother, Aaron. In exchange, Ara has to help Ryun find the power of the El Stone. Ara accepts, and they go on their journey to search for Aaron. The duo arrives to Hamel after hearing of the demon invasion there, but Ara is too late and can only find traces of the demons. After searching, Ara comes across the El team, who mistakes her for another demon. After the misunderstanding, Elsword tells Ara that they already had fought the demons and that Ran had escaped from the Water Temple. He offers Ara to travel with him and his team, as they may come across Ran again. Ara agrees, joining in hopes of finding her brother as well as the El Stone to fulfill her contract with Ryun. Elysis, voiced by Yoon Ye-jin, Marina Inu, Elisabetta Spinelli. Elysis is strong-willed but is prone to acting before talking. She would do anything as long as it's for her younger brother, Elsword, who she cares deeply for. Elysis' sword skills were passed down to her from her father, who is a retired Velter Kingdom knight, and has shown extraordinary proficiency in sword fighting. Elysis had predicted that demons would bring danger to the continent and, as a result, joins the Velter Knights to stop the demon invasion in order to protect Elrios and her younger brother. Elysis is not in the El search party. Ad, voiced by Jung Jae-hyun, Rya Eri Kimura, Renato Navwa. Ad is a descendant of a family that researched Nassets. His entire family was exterminated after being caught researching the forbidden secrets of the Nassets. Ad fell into an ancient library while escaping and was trapped all alone. Fortunately, there was a steady supply of food to sustain himself as well as a large number of books about the Nassets. Ad spent his time reading them and waited for the day he could escape. With his vast knowledge, Ad eventually invented the Nasset dynamo using the parts from broken-down Nassets found inside the library. Using the weapon's power, he escaped from the collapsing library. However, the isolation of being trapped alone for so long left Ad insane, along with an obsession to find rare Nasset codes. While traveling to look for more Nasset schematics, Ad finds that the race no longer exists. The library where Ad had lived in distorted time inside, and sent him to a timeline far into the future. Thus, Ad manipulates Wally in order to gain strength and find a way to get back to the past. That was until Ad found traces of Eve from the corrupted Nasset King. Ad is technically an enemy of the El Search Party. Lu, voiced by Kim Yeon-ji, Yuka Iguchi. All these unfamiliar memories came to me. Lu was one of the demon lords that supported the demon realm, but because of her subordinates' betrayal, she lost all her powers and was sealed away for a long time. In a last-ditch effort, she undid the seal and escaped to El Rios, but due to the immense consumption of mana required for jumping into El Rios, her appearance turned into that of a child. After her contract with CL, she starts to track down demons invading El Rios in order to regain her power and status. CL, voiced by Kim Young-sun, Noriaki Sugiyama, a famous assassin in the criminal underworld, he is Lu's bodyguard and butler. After Lu escaped through the gap in space and time, CL rescues and accompanies her. He loses his life to demon assassins, including Kara's, that were after Lu, but manages to revive as a half-demon by making a contract with her. Out of gratitude for saving his life, CL aligns his cause with Lu's and travels with her until her goals are completed. Non-playable characters. These are the more notable non-playable characters that players may encounter during gameplay. Ruben Hagas, chief of Ruben Village. Gives several quests to warriors and travelers to prove their strength. Lo, Camp Drill Master. Also appears in PvP as an epic NPC and in Gate of Darkness is the first ally to replace a player, An, shopkeeper. Purveyor of the basic equipment needed to explore a dungeon. Wrote the skill note Deadly Cosmetics. Elder Hoffman, Great Merchant of Elder and head of the Volta Commerce Association. Helps with the first-class advancements for almost all playable characters. Luichel, former bandit, current accessories shopkeeper of Elder, Echo, alchemist. Wrote the skill note Recycling the Ashes. Lenfad, blacksmith and equipment shopkeeper. Younger brother of Hannah from Volta. Works with his sister in the chain of equipment shops, Swordsmith Cats. Bethma Stella, sheriff of Bethma, Catcher-Butch, alchemist. Vapor's colleague, Toma, owns equipment shop, Acetylene, Richian, accessory shopkeeper. Brother of Rosine. Owns Richie Mine and one of Luichel's business rivals. Ultra Adel, chief of Ultra. Also teaches young Pongo about literature and writing. Agatha, equipment shopkeeper. Amos, alchemist. Aida, accessory shopkeeper. Fata Lento, knight of Fata Altar. Allegro's bodyguard. Allegro, lord of Fata's assistant. Volta Vanessa, Volta garrison centurion. Also appears in Erida Island as one of Volta's spearman chief gatekeepers. Wrote the skill notes Deep Cut and Seamless Spearmanship. Hannah, equipment shopkeeper. Lenfad's big sister who runs Swordsmith Cats. Grail, alchemist. Became a dog after a failed experiment. Prose, accessory shopkeeper. Likes Hannah but was rejected. Noel, wandering bard. Former mercenary. Acted as a tactician to help Vanessa and the L search party during the Volta invasion. Harmel Penenzio, chief of the Red Knights. Also appears in PvP as an epic NPC and in Gate of Darkness as the third ally to replace a player. Voiced by Hideki Ojihara, Daisy, secretary of Duke Rod Ross, Horatio, equipment shopkeeper. Also known as the Flaming Horatio. Wrote the skill notes Opportunity Chance, Earthquake, Scars of Burns and Armor Destroyer. Voiced by Yasuke Akimoto, Lucy, accessory shopkeeper. Voiced by Rei Matsuzaki, Denka, alchemist. Voiced by Shinya Fukamatsu. Sander Emirate, village chief. Also known as Redbeard, Rosine, accessory shopkeeper. Sister of Richian, Tafar, equipment shopkeeper. Weapons expert. Wrote the skill note Imbalanced Weight, Vapor, alchemist. Colleague of Catcher-Butch. Lanox Adel, chief of Lanox, Sdeing, blacksmith leader. Boss of Ash-Covered Village. Steel's father, Steel, equipment shopkeeper. 13-year-old dwarf blacksmith. Only 140 centimeters tall but weighs over 70 kilograms. Sdeing's daughter, Faishoff, alchemist. Real name unknown. Lost his face while using the forbidden alchemy to resurrect the dead, according to rumors. Ember Ryota, accessory shopkeeper. Inya, fire priestess. Sebastian, Adel's butler. All villages resting areas. Ariel, COBO service representative. Found in all villages except Ruben. Gives out missions mostly related to actual events. Voiced by Maya Matsuki, Camilla, sparring area administrator. Found in all villages except Ruben. Voiced by Yui Hori, Luriel, COBO bank service attendant and Ariel's younger sister. Found in all villages except Ruben. Voiced by Hitomi Harada, Helen, peddler. Found in all resting areas, Glaive, Henia's time and space administrator. Found in all resting areas and Fata village. Others. Luto, former administrator of Henia's time and space. Found in Hell Mode secret dungeons, Maya, COBO product sales sector representative. Found in all villages during events. Occasionally handles Ariel's role of providing event quests and exchanges, Adams, former alchemist. Found in Ruben, by the riverside. Sometimes appears in towns as an event NPC, handling Ariel's role of providing event quests and exchanges, Rod Ross, Duke of Harmel, Sasha, Water Priestess of Harmel, Enidran, Wind Priestess. Found in Sander and Caliso Tribal Village, RT, Earth Priestess of Lanox, Gloria, Light Priestess of Lanox, Darkmoon, Dark Priestess of Lanox. Media. Main. There are a series of main based on the game, published by Korean publisher Haksan Culture Company in a series of magazines called L-Type. The magazines are published by KOG Studios, the creators of Elsword. They involve a main story in each magazine with short comic gags in the beginning and end. After the first 4 volumes were released, the series went on a hiatus due to the main artist of Elsword leaving. KOG later created a short series of mains different from L-Type, involving Chung and his transformation into his second job advancement. During the release of Ara, L-Type was rebooted with a new team of artists, entitled L-Type Season 2. The first volume introduced Ara and her lore, along with numerous different short comics, each illustrated by several different artists. Ad was later featured in L-Type Season 3. Official guidebook An official guide was released on October 8, 2010. Japanese-style week comic In 2014, an Elsword manga-style week comic was released in Brazilian territory, exclusive to the website. It was written by Fabio Yabu, responsible for already established series Combo Rangers, and freely available. The weeb comic is aimed for children. Relationships with Grand Chase. Elsword was originally a reboot of Grand Chase, another MMORPG created by KOG Studios. The two games shared many similarities, such as Elysis, Escher, and Rena, formerly named Elysis, Arm, and Lyra, respectively, who were few of the main characters of Grand Chase. The obvious identical traits were scrapped when Elsword came out of beta testing, as the two games were hosted by different companies. However, there are still many similarities between the two games, such as similar skill systems, names, character stories, traits, and monsters. References: http, ilwikinet eve, http, ilwikinet chung, http, ilwikinet ara, http, ilwikinet elysis, http, ilwikinet ad, ABCDEFGA Euro OE Elsword a Euro I 1/4 OE a florin cubed a florin C florin WAA florin 1/4 a registered trademark AOE a delta Euro AAAEACE micro AAI 1/4 OE a Euro E plus or minus EAA a W Euro. 4gamer.net ABCDEA Euro OE Elsword a Euro E degree a florin C florin WAA florin 1/4 a Euro OE a florin WA radian per square second Euro a registered trademark CVA squared telephone YAAAAE micron CWC unregistered trademark E. 4gamer.net a Euro OE Elsword a Euro E degree a florin C florin WAA florin 1/4 a Euro OE a florin WA radian per square second Euro a registered trademark CVA squared telephone YAAAAE micron CWC unregistered trademark E. 4gamer.net a euro OE Elsword a euro I 1/4 OE to the first a florin registered trademark a florin W florin cubed a to the first E degree a cubed a florin cubed a florin OA 1/2 area a to the first a florin a florin gamma florin 1/4 AM florin OE registered trademark E 1/2 a euro E degree a florin C florin WAA florin 1/4 a euro OE AM florin W florin a florin 1/4 A. Florin cubed a euro a registered trademark a florin egg paragraph a florin 1/4 a micro a florin AA. 4gamer.net. Erika Tsua. Elsword Veganha Manga Nacional. ANMTV retrieved September 16, 2014. Elsword the webcomic, in Portuguese. External links, official site of Elsword North America, official site of Elsword Europe.